Shut up and sit down.
Pictures of Bill Cosby in your bedroom.
Yeah.
He's my mentor.
Oh, shit. That guy's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah.
But he's also really rapey. So you think a guy that famous would not have to drug a bunch of women to bang him out?
Maybe he just...
Maybe he got off on the idea
Yeah.
that they were, like, basically
like,
dead.
out.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
totally.
barely with a pulse.
Maybe.
Fucking Bill Cosby. Dude, everybody who's listening.
Dude, and David Cassidy, you know? Like they said
No,
that
what happened with him?
he died of audio... What's that called? Audio fix... Where you hang yourself?
Oh.
And like masturbate or something like that?
Yeah, so he was the dude. Was that the older guy
He was
in
a
the
kung fu
closet?
guy.
He was the dude in the closet. They found him in the closet in the hotel in like the Philippines or Thailand or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody's got this weird shit. If you're a celebrity, they got some weird shit going on, like Usher.
What's Usher got going on,
A
dude?
couple years ago, this fat chick came out and she said that she got, what's it called, herpes from Usher. And there was video of him calling her on stage at a concert. And she's a big woman. Like, we're talking huge. Like, this table, huge. And he's out there, like, strip dancing, like, on her.
Doing his little Michael Jackson moves and shit.
And everybody's screaming, loving it, right? Oh, yeah, she's with some fat chick. Well, she's claiming that they had sex, and now she's contracted herpes. And then another girl comes out and says the same thing. And then a dude comes out and says the same thing.
No.
Yeah, it was
Usher
all
said-
over the news and shit. And
When
people-
was this?
Like 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
I
think.
never even heard about this.
Yeah, you can Google that shit, or you can go on YouTube, whatever. But it'll say, but like Usher gives herpes to fat girl or whatever, and you'll see it, and then all the allegations and shit, and
Wow.
people started making jokes about him, like
Big girls need love too.
Like
They
it-
just don't need herpes.
yeah, like he made that song. What was it? Let It Burn or some shit like that. And
Yeah.
so people were like fucking dissing on him for that kind of stuff.
When he's peeing. Is that what
Yeah.
they're saying? Yeah. Is that gonorrhea or is it clap? Which one? I don't know. I've never had an STI, so. Is it gonorrhea
both of
where you
those,
pee?
both of those.
You pee hot on both of them?
Yeah, both. Of
I just know if you pee hot, you got a problem.
Well, like because chlamydia is like clap, right? That's like what's it called?
That's
The normal.
bacterial.
Yeah, it's like normal shit that.
It's the most prevalent one, right? Yeah.
Mhm. And then if you don't get that situated, then it grows into something called
Chlamydia
gonorrhea.
is bad. Oh, wait, hold on. Chlamydia turns into gonorrhea?
It can, because if it stays
It
inside of
cultivates in
yourself,
cultures or whatever.
yeah, and it does a lot of fucked up shit inside of you.
It can
So-
make you sterile.
Yeah. After a
Yeah.
while.
And it can kill you.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
And so, but it's the easiest.
It's super easy to
diagnose.
fix.
You
Yeah.
just fucking pour it in a drink, stir it, you're done. That's it.
Yeah, sometimes you
know?
can just go to the doc in the box and they'll give you a shot and a pill and you're done. 24 hours later, it's gone. You just pee it all out or whatever.
Yeah, the gonorrhea one, fucking those. I've never met anybody who's contracted gonorrhea, but what happens is if you have got chlamydia and you have the symptoms, but say they can't get a good read on you, but if you have certain symptoms, it's like, okay, well, you've been hurting like this for like 2 weeks or 3 weeks by now. Like, oh shit, okay, well, it's
Why the fuck
probably-
aren't you coming to the doctors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, well, we're gonna go
Take
and
care
give
of
you the
yourself.
gonorrhea pill, and the gonorrhea pill.
It's like a
is-
giant pill, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like they give that to anthrax victims. So what happens is you take that shit, you stay away from the light, right, and you go home, and your body's on fire. You feel like you're throwing
Detoxed.
up. Yeah, you're sweating. You're out of it. You're just hating the world and shit. Probably in a fetal position, like you're. It's not. I mean, this is some real chemical shit, and then boom, it's done. You
Yeah.
know?
And then you get cancer like 20 years later. Side effects might be bleeding from your nose, headaches, pissing out of your asshole for like multiple days.
Yeah. Nosebleeds.
Dying of cancer in 20 years. It's like, pissing hot or dying of cancer. I think I'll take my chances with cancer. Our whole medicinal system is so fucked, dude. It's so fucked.
It's all money, man.
It's all money, dude. Did you hear they're like trying to that now they're like, they made it like seem like such a big deal. They're like, oh, the government just invested like $3 million into researching CBD. Basically, the government just spent $3 million to find people to make a bunch of full, like, fake bullshit up about like marijuana and CBD because they're losing a lot of money on all the opiates and the taxation that they can, you know, that they can reap revenue from. Which is absolutely ridiculous. But you're going to find that they're going to release a study that says, well, turns out it gives you cancer. Yeah. It's going to kill you. You're not supposed to do it. Everybody's scared. It's like, there's going to be like one person died of CBD. You need to be careful. Like this whole vape scare. It's like 6 people have fucking died smoking these vapes. Okay, well, that's 6 people in like the first few years. All right, well, you're talking about teenagers and people who probably puff all fucking day. They're underdeveloped. They sit at home. They probably fucking play video games, eat fucking potato chips. Like, these are people who aren't out fucking breathing air. They're like, they're probably living like very sedimentary lifestyles. And it's also a bunch of like illegal secondhand cartridges that are sold basically on the black market. People are fucking making these cartridges in their garages and then they're selling them on the streets, and people are dying of black market shit. It's kind of like guns, right? It's like all right, well, everybody who vapes, you shouldn't fucking vape because, you know, the fucking 6 people, 10 people who just died, you know, from this lung disease or illness or whatever the fuck you're calling it.
What about the tobacco companies, dude? There's so many deaths about that, and it's still fucking legal.
I know.
So
yeah, it's like cancer or lung disease. Like, well, I'm gonna die either way. Might as well go out happy. Might as well enjoy that jewel one last time, kid.
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
But I saw something where it said Washington banned it now on the vapors or something like that.
I think Oregon's going to follow suit, and I think it's for marijuana products. Everything vape. Right. Everything liquid vape. Which kind of sucks, dude.
I think honestly, I don't vape, so it's not hurting me any, you know.
Well, it hurts the companies and it hurts the economy, and I think, to be completely honest with you, it's another money move. Yeah. It's because they're going to slowly try to like make it illegal for everything. Soon they're going to find out that concentrates make you sick somehow. Like, oh my God. Like the whole like edibles thing. We're like, oh, people are jumping out of buildings. All right, well, those are fucking idiots, dude. 2 fucking people got super stoned and they jumped out of buildings. Right when they made like cannabis recreationally legal in like Colorado, you had all these people who were like, eating all these edibles, and they had no idea what it was. They were just like, fuck, I love brownies. Fucking, let me eat these fucking brownies. And they eat like a bunch of brownies, and they realize they're fucked up. They call the emergency room, and so they have all these scare tactics. When I read the news, there's always a scare tactic like, oh, well, you know, emergency room visits are up by like 400%, and because of marijuana, and people are like, you know, having suicidal tendencies, and they're getting crazy, and they think they're going to die, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all right, well, tell those motherfuckers they're stupid, because you're not going to die on THC. It's not going to fucking kill you. And second of all, tell those motherfuckers they're stupid. Because it's ridiculous when they try to scare you like that. Because the people who actually do buy marijuana and have had edibles, and they actually look at it, kind of like when you look at a fucking bottle that you're prescribed, and it's like, take 1 to 2 tablets every 2 to 4 hours or every 4 hours. That if I were to take 20 of those and go to the emergency room because I'm thinking I'm gonna die or I'm gonna die, I would expect somebody to be like, are you fucking retarded? Like, look at the bottle. It tells you not to take 20. It says take 2, not 20. Yeah. What are you doing? And these people don't look at it. They just think it's like safe. So the problem with, I think, the medicinal and the recreational marijuana, I think the issue with that is the PR, you know, like they need to, like, instead of saying it's bad, you know, these are the things that are super bad, don't do it because it's bad. Instead of saying that, say, hey, if you're going to do this, do it right. Check the label, you know, like whenever I see like billboards when I'm driving by, it's always like negative. Well, the people who do that, they're going to be like, fuck you guys, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Instead of saying that, be like, hey, on a positive note, we already know you're getting fucked up. How about you do it right? Check the label. Don't fucking kill yourself. Like, if you're going to do it right, you know, instead of saying you're going to fucking die of lung disease, and they're sitting there like smoking a joint. Fuck you, I don't care.
Or
I'll
like
get lung
eat
disease.
McDonald's every day of the week. You know,
Yeah.
like it's just common sense. You know, every time I see like now McDonald's doing an ad, you buy one sandwich and you get another one for $1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then top that off with $1 drink, right? Any size. And every time I see ads like that, I'm like, fuck. They just, it's like, oh, it's the time of the season. We got to get people into the hospitals and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's push more food out there,
Yeah.
so that way they can consume it and increase the diabetes. You know,
We're just
flow going.
lazy.
And it's like,
People are lazy. We're so fucking lazy. America's like the laziest country in the world.
mm-hmm.
We are. That's why we're so fat, dude. Because, like, we don't want to fucking cook. People in America don't want to cook. They just go to fast food. They're like, oh, man, fuck. I don't want to cook. Take me 20 minutes to drive over to McDonald's, do the drive-thru, and come
Right.
back and have a full meal. When it would take you, like, an hour. And they're like, I don't want to stand and watch my food cook. You know, like, we're fucking lazy, dude. But, you know who's lazier than us? The UK. Because England is fat as fuck.
Real
I
shit.
think England actually surpassed the United States as the fattest people per capita.
Wow.
Don't quote me on that, but England has a lot of fat motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of big fucking people in England. And they have a crisis, too, because their food is, you know, they also have the fast food, but their pub food is super, super fucking greasy, too.
Wow.
Like, it's just like American food, if not worse, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's so many fat people in the UK. I only know this because I watch a lot of documentaries, I guess.
Yeah.
But they always dog on fucking England. They're always like, they're always talking about. And I did read something recently that said that I do believe it said that the UK passed up the United States on like per capita as far as like people who are overweight. Doesn't mean they have more people. It just means like obviously per capita. So yeah, but. Everybody listening in, oh, what's up? We've got Izzy. He's been on the show before. And then we've also got Logan. He's been on the show multiple times as well. And tonight we're kind of talking about really pretty much anything. You just heard a little bit of a spiel probably if I didn't cut it out. But we've had a couple chit chats, conspiracy theory kind of stuff, which is why I have this dynamic round table. Izzy touched a little bit about his experience when he was a kid with either extraterrestrial or something that you had an experience of as a child, and then after that had happened, your life changed, from what I understand, significantly. Like you were more in tune with certain energies and your surroundings, and you've had different experiences that have reinforced what had happened when you were when you were a child. Am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Like
Everything's changed.
Yeah, that's so weird. All right, so for those of you who have not listened to that episode, you can go back and find it, but I kind of want to go back through it again because during that episode we touched on so many different conspiracy theories. It was awesome. It was kind of lost in the mix. Yeah. That was a fun show, dude. That guy, how smart was that motherfucker?
Oh yeah.
He is so smart, dude. Anthony's a good dude. He knows a lot of information. Every time I see him, I'm like, dude, I could sit here and talk to you for like 5 hours, but I don't have 5 hours to talk, so do a podcast. I'm gonna try to get him back in on another show.
That'd be really cool. Cool.
But yeah, so we had touched on your on I guess maybe an abduction or something.
Yeah, I can start off there.
You want to start with that, and then we can talk about because you have died and come back to life.
Yeah.
And had very interesting experiences there as well. So I'd love to fucking chat about that. That's super cool.
Yeah, no doubt. So, and it's so weird because like whenever I talk about just that, about passing away and what's on the other side.
Cheers, by the way.
Oh, word up.
Yeah, it's cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers.
All right, word up. It's like it's so like almost controversial. You know what I mean?
People don't like to hear this stuff, dude. And by that, it's like it makes them uncomfortable, dude.
Yeah.
Challenges their beliefs.
You fear what you don't know, kind of thing. And that's where, like, at the end of that episode, it was kind of like, even if we knew all the secrets to life, it doesn't matter because we can try to tell somebody about it and be like, yo, did you know da-da-da-da? And they're like, that's not going to change my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're not going to grow wings. You know, nothing's going to change besides your outlook on life, period. And it'll change you as an individual.
Oh,
about
yeah.
it, you know. But yeah, so I was living in Homedale, Idaho, and I'm around 3 or 4 years old. And so I'm a single child, and I don't even know if it was day or night, but I was asleep and I woke up, and the entire house was full of light, and it was like fog light. So it wasn't like blinding light. It was like fog light. I don't know how to explain it. Like if you're like on a cold
Like light
field-
on a stage at like a concert kind of where it's
No, like there's daylight somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't know where it's at. And you know, you think ceiling light, right? Like the center of the ceiling, that's the point of
something that's directing the light itself.
right. But imagine it's not there. There's just light everywhere. It's so weird. So anyways, so I woke up, my entire room was full of light, but it was like foggy, and it wasn't cold, and it wasn't hot. And I walked out to the hallway, and I looked across the hallway, and my parents' bedroom door was open, and I could see my dad laying on his back, and my mom's laying on her side, and my dad's mouth is open. Like he's totally like gone.
Out of it.
Yeah. And there's a window next to their bed, and there's a lot of light coming in from that window. So I don't know what to do, but I turned to my right, and I'm looking down the hallway, and there's this figure, and it's about my height. And it shouldn't be there. And it doesn't even look like me. It doesn't even look like somebody I know at all. There's no clothes on it. And it had 2 legs and 2 arms, and it had this large head. And that's all I could see at the moment. So I
Like
started,
a silhouette.
I don't know. Maybe my vision was off. Maybe the fog. I don't know. But so I started walking towards it. I don't know why either, but started walking towards it. Maybe I didn't have any fear at that time. I don't know. But and my vision started to my balance. So it's kind of like, say, if you're really drunk and you're trying to walk a straight line, you know, you kind of feel like you're maybe moving on an, you know, like the floor is moving.
Yeah.
So that's what I was experiencing. The closer I was getting, the worse it was getting. But I knew I was still walking straight.
Were you being prompted somehow to like move towards it? Was there like a feeling where you like urged to go? Was it like a familial thing?
There was
like
no
it's
feeling.
okay if I go.
There was no feeling telling me not to. You know what I mean?
So it was out of interest. You're like, what is this in front of me? So you just started walking towards it.
Yeah. If I were to think,
Like a child probably would. They would
Yeah.
probably be like, "What? Who are you? What's going on?"
Probably.
Because they have no idea.
you're
Curiosity.
probably right.
Yeah,
Right.
especially at that age. How old again were
Possibly.
you? Sorry.
Like 3 or 4.
Yeah, you were super young. So you probably just walking towards it thinking it was like just another person like
Yeah.
hanging out in your house, babe.
Maybe. I just,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you had
I
no
don't know.
fear, so that's all
Yeah.
that matters.
So I'm walking towards it, and it's at the end of the hallway. As closer I get, the worser the vision is, kind of thing. My whole body feels like it's almost
Like
rotating.
those tunnels you go through.
Yeah, like the walls are starting to like go like this. Okay, but I know I'm walking straight, so I'm just going to continue walking straight. And then all of a sudden it went, and then I'm very close to this figure, and it had large black where the eyes would be.
Like almond shaped or something.
Yeah, but I know those weren't eyes. Like they weren't eyes. Like they didn't have eyelashes. You know what I mean? Like
lids. They didn't blink or anything.
Right. There
Like
was
a
no
bug?
blinking. Yeah, but I know that it wasn't. It's like a shield or something. There's like maybe like sunglasses. Okay, there's something there, and I went to it, and then I can see the scales on the arms. I could see, and it was gray, and it had knuckles. It had
Have nails.
yeah, it had claws, and it had claws.
All right, so we didn't even get into this last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't get into detail. You just kind of gave us an overview. All right, dude, this is getting
So-
Do you
dope.
remember what shape the scales were? Were they like fish scales? Were they like snake scales?
That's a really good question.
I guess fish
I
scales
would
are all
say
kind of
fish.
a little different.
They were
but-
kind of like fish scales. They're not like our scales where they're really, really, really tiny. Like the skin on us looks like reptile, but these look bigger.
Do you think it was their actual skin, or do you think it was like some type of a skin suit?
I think it was a suit. And this form was very frail, very skinny. It wasn't wearing any clothes. This was a suit. This is how I feel that it was a suit. And I expected to see my reflection through the eye. So I'm right there. I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the left eye, and I do not see a reflection. Then I got scared. For some weird reason, I expected to see my reflection, but I didn't. And then I remember thinking, if I hit it on the head, I will dent it. Like, I can actually see the dent going like this, because now I'm scared, and I feel like I'm in danger. So I remember lifting my arm up like this, like kind of like in the Mario games, like this.
Yeah, like a hammer.
This is before Nintendo, right? I went like this, and then I was paralyzed. And all I remember is staring at that eye. And it was almost like I was just paralyzed. And then the next thing I remember, I woke up in my bed, and my legs didn't work, and my voice didn't work, and I was very weak, and I can hear my mom cooking or doing dishes. The fog is gone. Now it's like a regular day. It's daytime. And I pull the edge of my mattress and pull my entire body off, and I fall to the floor, and I tried crawling to the hallway, but I'm super exhausted.
Were you crying or anything?
I'm too exhausted. I couldn't do it. I remember I couldn't do anything. Like, I couldn't even. It was almost hard enough for me to lift myself up with my arms at all. And so anyways, so I'm laying on the floor, and I remember trying to scream, trying to call for my mom, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So I kind of propped myself on my legs, kind of like crutches. You kind of find a balance where you can kind of like grab the mattress and then pull yourself up, and then I just got myself back onto my bed, and I laid there, and that's all I remember. And then I remembered this whole incident in 4th grade.
So you didn't even remember it for like a little while, and then all of a sudden you start having these memories, like dreams or what? You just started thinking like little triggers here and there, like things that would make you
I think it was like
recollect it or what?
Yeah, like if I'm in a car driving, you know, I'm sitting in the
and you see like a foggy light or something, you'd have like
it just opened to me, and then I would see something, and I'm like, okay, wow, that's weird. And so I just thought that, I don't even know it was just I don't know. I didn't pay too much attention to it when I started remembering that kind of shit. But then once I hit 7th grade, I was watching an NBC episode, and there was these adults, and they were talking about abductions and stuff. And I was watching it because number 2 from Star Trek Generations, he was the host. I forgot his name, but so I'm a big fan of Star Trek kind of thing, right? And so as a kid, and I'm like watching it, and these adults started saying that they wake up in their home, and it's full of light, and it's foggy, and they don't know where this light's coming from. And I was like, that's me. Like, that they're telling my story. How can my childhood story match these older adults, you know? Like I never even knew what an abduction was. I never knew what an alien was. I never knew what religion was. I never knew what space was. Nothing. Like, it just, I'm a kid. So anyways, so I knew something was up. And so, yeah, I mean, ever since then, it kind of made sense. Like, I was different, and I was more calm, and I studied more stuff.
Did you feel different though? Did you act differently around people, like knowing that there was something that like maybe had happened to you that like you couldn't share with anybody, so you felt like you were kind of like...
Well, when I look back at it,
yeah,
I think, well, I was like made fun of a lot, because I was like that kid that didn't belong.
kind of awkward.
Yeah, like totally. Like I wasn't playing on the toys. I mean,
Were you like depressed or something?
no, I
No
just didn't have
interest?
anything in common with them. They were just. I was more into like. Now I look back at it, I would say I'm more into nature at that time. More into looking, studying trees and the sky and the clouds and patterns, and so maybe that's I don't know. I would say maybe it's like an autistic spectrum kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know, but
I think we're all on the spectrum. We talked about that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I couldn't pretend to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And so as elementary went through, I never found like anything that really like I never fit in, pretty much. So that kind of sucked. For real.
Yeah.
Totally sucked.
So you had to process this when you found out, like when it finally clicked, like, whoa, that wasn't a dream, or like it finally started to like come back into your memories. Like at that age, how old again were you when you
3 or 4?
Well, I know when
when I
you
came
were,
back.
you had that the
4th
experience.
grade, 7th grade.
Is when you started recollecting like shit that happened. That's such a young age, because like honestly, yeah, because you're saying you didn't know anything about aliens and or anything like that, and to process that as a child, like I don't know, I can't even put myself in the situation. Did you tell your parents or anything?
I told my dad.
What did he say?
He said that he was in the Air Force, and he said that he came home wearing a gas mask once, and I freaked out. And gas masks have big eyes. But I believe that incident happened afterwards. And after in 7th grade, I was curious, so I started doing research from what I could do. Eventually, once I got to the internet, which was like in high school, I started doing more research on people who served in the military and their families, and do they experience any kind of abductions, shit like that. Because like there was something that happened and I wanted to know, but everywhere I turn it says you got to get hypnotized, and I kind of don't want to know what happened. Like I don't want to know what happened.
My dad's a hypnotherapist.
Yeah, because I know
he could totally hypnotize you.
Oh, I'm sure. I've gotten hypnotized before for fun, so I know it works. But to lay me down and do like an Edgar Casey kind of thing, I'm afraid to see what happened. And even if I were to find out what happened, I'm going to want to know how many times this has happened throughout my adult life.
Have you had different time-lapsing experiences where like you're looking at a book and it's like you're on page like 12 and like you look over the clock and it's 3 o'clock, and then you look back down and you're still on page 12 and it's like 7 o'clock in the PM, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? Is this something like that? You've had experiences like that?
Yeah, but I would, but I mean, really, is it just because you're dozing off, or is it because you're not concentrating, you're not focusing? I don't know. Maybe I just have an incredibly curious mind, whatever, and then I would just maybe just not even ponder on that kind of stuff. But
do you think it's something you maybe locked away so you didn't think about it because it was so traumatic?
Like a suppressing of the memory because of it?
Probably. I mean, like I said, if I were to get hypnotized, right, I'm sure it's going to give me a lot of answers. But what am I going to do with those answers?
Write a book.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
But it's like I can't let it consume me. So, and we'll get more to that on consuming. But and then when I was 16 and I passed away, I was an inhaler for like 1.5 years, and I would inhale everything, like chemicals. And
gotcha.
And I did that because
that's intense.
It didn't heighten my senses, and that's the only reason why I did it.
What did you huff?
My main was rubber cement. That's what I go to.
How do you huff that? You just open up the bottle or whatever and you just sniff it until you get high?
Yeah. Like it's almost like I'm like I can picture.
I've heard about it. Like I've known people who we'd always make fun of people who'd be like, oh, that dude's huffing something, like Freon or something.
Yeah, I try spray paint, gasoline, insect repellent, potpourri, Spam. Like
Spam?
gasoline. Yeah, you know, yeah.
You can huff Spam?
You can try.
You just open a can of Spam and you just
Yeah.
smell it like a sandwich or what?
You
Like,
just
what do you
spray
like?
It, spray it in a bag. I'm all teaching everybody. Yo, you guys gonna get hot.
Well, I'm thinking Spam like the meat.
Oh, Pam.
no, Pam. Yeah.
Oh,
Pam.
Pam.
But then I heard
It's like you're
called
huffing
Zip
fucking canned
aerosol
meat over
shit.
here.
I know.
That's crazy.
Oh, whiteout. Oh, dude, don't do whiteout. Like, don't do whiteout.
What? I
Don't
didn't
do
even know you could
whiteout.
huff all these things.
Yeah, it's horrible.
All right, so what was your favorite though? I'm kind of
The
curious.
rubber cement. And
What was the vibe you got? What was the feel you got? I'm kind of curious.
First it was the headaches, and then it was the vibration. I was able to feel my
At the same
frequency.
time?
After the headaches. So after the headaches, you kind of build a tolerance, and then you can feel your body give in some kind of frequency. And so I started doing studies.
I did not know this, dude.
Yeah, it does something to your brain to where it blocks. I would say
It changes your, yeah.
I would say it's oxygen related. Certain parts of your brain doesn't receive the oxygen in your blood cells.
So-
I would say.
So it probably heightens other areas of your
Uh-huh.
brain because
And
it has
so-
to compensate for the loss or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like deaf people, like
It's like
they
going disabled
or
and then
blind people hear better. Yeah, they
Yeah,
have like because their
exactly.
body is designating less resources to a certain thing.
Yeah.
So it's
And
like, yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Whoa, this is
but
crazy.
All I knew was I was experiencing these heightened sensory stuff. I was already feeling different about things, and so this just heightened shit, and it heightened my my hearing. It heightened like I could see the next day before it happened. I could see what people were wearing. I could know what people were gonna say the next day before it occurred. It was like almost having a cheat sheet, and you were able to do things like that. And I got a high on that. Like
All
I
off
wanted
rubber
to know.
cement?
Yeah, and I wanted more and more and more, and so. But I did do my own studies on myself, and I would write down what I experienced, and because I wanted to know if this was real. I wanted to know if what I was experiencing was real. And so one day, I would say maybe the same year. So I'm in junior high, 7th grade, and I have some friends, and we all ride BMX and shit. And so we all went over to my friend's house, and I was like, dude, I've been huffing rubber cement, and I've been experiencing some stuff, and I would like to experiment with you guys if you guys are down. And they're like, dude, you're dumb and that's gross and whatever, and and they're all smoking cigarettes and shit. We're all kids, Joe. But
Smoking cigarettes and nothing.
Yeah,
Rubber cement. Yeah, we're just kids.
Yeah, cigarettes was like the
I remember
drug.
my 8th grade all having fucking rubber cement. That's so funny. I'm blown away right now, by the way. I did not even know that, like, I just thought it would fucking kill you. I just thought you would fucking die, because they would always do those PSAs back in the day, like, or they'd always tell you in high school,
like weed is bad. You know what I mean? Like it's
or like
just,
whippets and
marijuana is
shit.
terrible.
Yeah, all this stuff, dude. Yeah, marijuana.
This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
Marijuana. But hey, go to hobbies class and go play with all the rubber cement and huff that shit and all the fucking chemicals. But don't smoke weed.
Yeah, so like
that'll fucking kill you.
So like anybody who's watching this, don't become an inhaler.
Don't huff stuff.
That's
Do it.
what I did. Okay, just don't. I mean,
Especially if you're like 14.
yeah, the sensory stuff is incredible, but
Did you huff markers? Sorry.
no, those are just weak and horrible.
They're weak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
bong
horrible.
water, bro.
But so we're all sitting in a circle, and we all take turns. So it's Elmer's rubber cement in it's like a tin can.
Brand name.
Yeah, and you're like, shh, 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 shh. And you're like, oh yeah, like, oh my god, like I can feel it still in me, yo. It's so weird. So anyways, and then I pass it. It's like a joint. We're passing it, and there's about 7 of us, and about 4 of them got headaches. 3 of them felt like throwing up, and
The other one
everybody.
was seizing out.
Yeah.
The other one convulsed.
and I started asking them, okay, because like it would hit me pretty fast. The thing was, you'd feel the vibration, And then the second thing was your hearing. So now you would hear echoes. So it's just like if you put in a sound effect in your mixer board, and it's like, hi, 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 hi. Okay. So, okay, THC can do that too. But this was different. And because the voice was coming off of the walls. Like, it was weird. And so I said,
Your
okay,
voice or another voice?
my voice.
Okay.
So I was like, are you guys experiencing this? And some of them started laughing and shit. And I don't know if they were like really high and they were just feeling good and they're laughing, or they're just laughing at me because I'm just ridiculous.
Because you're super high.
Yeah. And then I started hearing two women talking, and I said, shh. I was like, shut up, And I was like, do you hear two women talking? And they're like, no, this guy's, he's high, he's crazy, whatever. And I'm like, no, I hear them. Like, I know they're here. And I go out to the left, and I open the window, and everybody comes out, and they look at the window, and there's two women walking a block, half a block down, walking towards the house. We are inside of a house, and I can still hear them on the other side of the wall, and I can hear them half a block away talking. And there's two women. They're just walking, They're not loud
Casual
and
conversation.
shit. Yeah, and I could hear them. So then they were like...
I had a very similar experience, by the way. Not with huffing shit, but with salvia. So keep talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can talk about that later.
And then, so they were kind of like freaked out about it. And, to me, it was an experiment, and they did not have the same shit that I had. So
they weren't rocking the Elmers.
Yeah.
They had that rip off fucking rubber cement, dude.
There was something.
Not great value shit.
Yeah. That's signature select fucking ad, dude.
But so I just continued doing it. While I was doing it, I never ate. So imagine 20 small tin rubber cement bottles all over my bedroom, under my bed, in my drawers.
Just dried out bottles or what?
Empty. And it never dawned on me.
They empty. So when you huff it, you actually huff the stuff itself, so it disappears.
Yeah, and I never really thought about that, because all of a sudden I'm like, oh man, I'm out of glue, and your lips are all like,
I'm out of glue.
And you're like peeling the glue off your lips and shit.
What?
And you're like, where's it at? I never thought about
Did
that.
you warm it up or something beforehand? No, it was just like room temperature, just huffing.
So nice when you when it's like moist and you're like,
that's so weird.
The top has like this brush, and you can just kind of like put that down.
And you're just,
oh my god, dude!
This dude's having flashbacks.
Just don't do it.
Don't do it, man. We're not trying to go to the fourth dimension right now.
And so anyway, so I continued doing it. Never ate, lost weight. So a year and a half later, 97 pounds at 5'7", and you can see all my ligaments in my body, all my ligaments. Like, you can see.
You look like an Auschwitz victim.
Yeah, like my ribs. You can see my heart. You can see the veins in my arm just like pumping. Like, I was so malnourished. Yeah. It was scary, right? But I never really thought about it.
Did you not eat because of the side effects, or were you just not hungry and all you thought about was just huffing?
I'm just not hungry. I was just not hungry.
So when you were doing this, was this an escape from like reality, knowing of what had happened to you, or was it more or less like something that you were trying to understand, and so you were looking for an outlet that provided you that?
I was just experimenting. With the side effects.
I did a lot of that in college.
It is weird because, like, my friends who are my same age, they're not thinking about this kind of shit. They're thinking about fucking chicks and getting beer and,
At like 14?
Yeah,
I was thinking about just copping my first titty at 14.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out how is this possible that my hearing is different? How is it possible I can see the next day before it happens? How is this possible? Like, how? Like, this can't be deja vu. And if it's not deja vu, then I'm on some kind of fucking plan that is predated, and I'm living it.
Yeah.
But the veil is coming off. I needed answers. So I ended up getting my girlfriend at the time, which is amazing. I even had a girlfriend. And I got her pregnant. And
you were how old?
16.
Okay.
Yeah. And
damn, that's crazy,
yeah.
dude.
And
I'm 33 and I don't even want a kid.
Yeah, if you're 16, don't go for kids.
Yeah, don't have a
Just don't
kid.
do it.
Huff glue, don't have kids. If you have kids, don't tell your kids off glue.
Yeah, if you're doing glue, just don't have anything.
It's
no,
fucking
no pets or nothing.
Totally blew my
Fuck out,
mind.
dude.
This is so intense. All right, continue.
So,
so you have a kid at 16?
Yeah, so I haven't had my child yet. Girlfriend's pregnant. Have to tell her parents, right? Her mom says she's already like racist, and so she's like,
it's a white girl, black chick,
Italian white chick.
Yeah.
And she's like, so you're gonna have nothing to do with this child, and yada yada yada.
How old is this girl at the time?
I think she's a year younger than me.
All right,
So,
15.
Yeah, so we're both, minors, and I remember feeling sad about that. So I went to the store, and I would collect pennies and nickels and dimes or whatever I could find on the streets, and then I would go to the grocery store and I would just put it all onto the counter and shit. And I was a regular buying rubber cement at this one store by my house and shit. And this cashier lady, I remember.
What's your fucking hobby?
You must do arts and crafts.
She's like, she said the price of it, like I don't know what it was, right? 175, whatever.
Yeah.
And I have all this fucking change, dude, like, and I'm like this, and she's like, looks at me, and I remember looking up at her, and she's just like, just take it and leave.
That is so funny, dude.
And I'm like,
starving artist, just go.
Yeah. It's so go. So
hashtag starving artist.
So that at that moment, I was really taking that news difficult, right? I couldn't process it right. So a day before that, I had a vision in my room. As I was looking out the window, I could see trees, and there were different colors, and I saw this like stream. I didn't know what that meant, right? So anyway, fast forward the next day, I got this new can. I'm walking in Nampa. I go to this park on North Side. I go to a bridge. It's so secluded, and I open it up, and I started thinking, okay, so I'm going to decrease oxygen. I'm going to do something I never did before. I'm going to, every time my body needs oxygen, I'm going to inhale from the can. I'm not going to allow any oxygen this time.
Holy shit.
I did it, and I did it, and I did it, and I did it. And then I remember looking, and all of a sudden, there was that image. There was trees, and I was on a bridge, and there was a little creek underneath me. I saw this, 24 hours earlier. So I said, I'm on the right path.
So it's like a deja vu.
Yeah.
That's what I believe a deja vu is. I think it means that you're on the right path.
Right.
But I have had deja vus where I can literally guess what is coming up in that deja vu. I've had like 2 or 3 in my life where I'm like in the moment, and I think to myself, I'm like, there's somebody gonna walk right there in front of me, and they do, and I'm like, and I'm fucking freaked out because it only happens like hardly ever. It's only happened a few times in my life, but there have been instances where I have called what is going on next in the deja vu, and I'll like stop everything around me, and I'm like, I know what's going on right now, and this is what's going to go on next. Every time I get that premonition, because I do know what's going on next. Not every deja vu I'm like, oh, well, I know what's going to happen. I just feel like I'm having the deja vu, but a few times I've been able to, I've actually believe that I was able to see what was going on next within the next like 30 seconds to a minute, and I have called all 3 or 4, very minimal, but I've called all of them my entire life because I know what's going to happen, and you have that feeling like you're doing what you're supposed to do. So like,
and you can totally work on that too through meditation, and you can work on it to where all of a sudden you're doing a lot more than just 30 seconds, and that happens to me a lot, but you can work on that. And so, and that's weird. No, but you can do that. But again,
I'm fucking blown away by that, dude.
Yeah. So then, this is where everything went horribly wrong, and so, my goal was to cease oxygen to the brain. My goal was just fuck it, right? It wasn't like I want to kill myself.
But if I die, I die.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It was just like, I don't even care anymore. But without knowing the consequences.
Yeah.
So I did it and I did it and I did it and I did it and I did it. I remember seeing numbers and then lots of numbers. And I kept doing it some more. And then all of a sudden I felt this pain. And it was like in my chest, and it felt like my lungs collapsed. And then it felt like needles, thousands or millions of needles all over my arms. And it was almost like, imagine your veins popping, right? Or collapsing maybe, all over. And then everything turned dark. It was almost like a curtain was covering the first front of me all the way around me. Like it was so scary. And then after everything went black, there was a light way up there. And I remember looking at it. And I remember looking down on to what my arms were, but they didn't have any color anymore. But I could tell they were my arms.
Like black and white?
I don't even remember.
They just didn't have any. No
I
color.
would say that it was light.
Like a white, probably.
Yeah, like energy, I would say. But then I realized there was no ground. So all of a sudden I wasn't even on Earth anymore. But yet I'm still here where I was standing. And then this light started to come down. Like I could hear something. And it was getting closer and closer. And this was super scary. Because I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what's going on. But this light, it had like this face, and it went around me, and it sounds so unreal, but it went around me, and it was judging me. It was looking at me. It was like analyzing me, and then I remember thinking, "Lie to the light."
You felt being subjected.
Oh, no.
Like you were being like something was judging you?
Yeah, I mean, it's so unreal, right? So unreal. And so then all of a sudden, slowly, I started sinking into the black.
The abyss.
Yeah, like if you want to call it that. And I remember feeling like, it almost feels like you're immersed in water. So, say you're at the edge of the pool and you just kind of let yourself down slowly, and your legs, right? You can feel coldness.
Yeah.
But now I can't even feel my legs. And I'm trying to,
You're
touch,
high as fuck.
do something, right?
Yeah.
I can't feel nothing.
Yeah.
And then I remember all that was left was my head. The light came down, and all of a sudden I'm outside of who I was, the energy. And then all of a sudden it's like, whew. And now I'm in this black universe. And this black universe is huge, and it's massive, and it's just endless. And I can see the light, and there's this bright light, and it's on top of something, and I don't know what it is yet. And I'm falling towards the light.
Are you walking? Are you running? Are you floating?
I'm falling slowly.
Oh, you're falling into it.
Yeah, like
Okay.
falling at an angle. And I don't have a body anymore, but I can hear.
'Cause you're leaned up against the fence.
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
You're like convulsing against
Yeah.
the fence right now in real life.
But I'm falling, and then I can hear these screams, and it was a tone. It was a tone at first, and it was like a real high pitched tone, and then the closer I got to the tunnels, and I realized there were tunnels, and the light is on top of these tunnels, and it's almost like looking at these tunnels, and in the middle of this black universe, it's nuts. And I'm falling, and then all of a sudden, the closer I get, I can notice they were screams. So the screams all made one tone. And then I remember saying, I'm not going to make that tone. I'm not going to scream. I'm not. And I couldn't help it. I went through the walls, and now all of a sudden it's black. And the last thing I remember seeing is the light above these tunnels. So I don't like the light. I'm here because of the light, and then my soul went, and I started screaming. What's weird is you don't have a body, so I don't know how I can hear this. There's souls in these tunnels, and they're not all human. They are there from the beginning of existence, and they're not human. There's animals in there. There's other beings in there that and you can feel this without even seeing it. And I remember going through eternities being in there. Eventually, there was this knowing that everybody knew that after a certain amount of eternities, the light would give you a chance to free your soul. So everybody in these tunnels was shut up. And we're talking zillions, if you can even fathom, or even multiply that, of souls that are just in these tunnels falling.
Are these are just lost souls, or they're going somewhere? It's like aggregating energy, basically, or what? Like, is it bringing them all to the same source, like the same point?
I don't even know how to explain it, dude.
Yeah.
If I'm in there, they must be in there because they gave up, like me.
Oh, so do you think this was kind of like hell, purgatory, like it was like
Afterwards,
the waiting grounds to be judged kind of thing? Because that's kind of what it sounds like. If you had something looking at you, like, you know, like something that was subjecting you to judgment, is from what it sounds like. It was like.
Well, I did get out, so that's what I come to conclusion. It was purgatory.
So you died.
Yeah, and being in there for eternities, but while you're in there, you do have these real life. I don't know what you call it. Think of it like you're in a holodeck, and you're living a life. There was other things where I was living on planet Earth, and there was other scenarios that were testing me, and I was taking other people's lives because I wanted to survive. And then after all this torture, and I realized that I'm not going anywhere and I'm still here, I said, I kind of admitted to myself that I'm here because of me and I'm not here because of the light, which is super hard to admit, because when you're in there, you don't remember who you are. You don't remember anything about your past life or nothing. You're just the soul that doesn't belong to nothing, and it hurts so bad, and it hurts. It's almost like you don't belong to nothing, and you just want to. I don't know. It's like the worst feeling you can ever feel. I would not want anyone to go through that. Mm-hmm. Nobody. But I admitted, for some crazy reason, I'm here because of me, mm-hmm. which is weird. And then all of a sudden I remember seeing lights, like colors. And then I was in this white universe. And then I was falling into this white universe. And I wasn't the only one. There was other energies that were falling with me. I didn't care who they were, though. And then as I was falling, I remember looking, and I saw these creatures that were special. They were half human and half animal. There was one that was like this huge, like, bird.
Like shit you see from the Egyptian times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like these hybrid looking things.
Yeah. And they were just massive. And they were all standing in a line. And I remember, like, if I was standing there, me and these other souls would be falling like this. So we're falling in front of them. As I came down, we fell on what looked like grass. It's like earth. It's like soil. And then they started to, like, roll the soil like a carpet, like they're rolling it up. The bad thing is that we're in front of this roll. So this huge roll is going to crush us. So I remember running. And that's weird again because I don't have a body. But I'm trying to get away. I'm scared. I don't know where I'm at. I'm exhausted. I really don't know what's going on. I don't want to do this anymore. I want it over with. I don't want to be alive anymore. Like, I'm done with whoever I am. I'm done. I don't know what the heck my name is. I don't know nothing. I'm just so real and honest. I'm so exhausted. And then I came up to this wall. And this wall was super tall. And it was like a candle wax. But I couldn't get inside. And there was super bright light on the other side of the wall. And there was a symbol. And I turned around, and here comes this roll of earth and soil, and these, I don't know why they want to end me.
Yeah.
So I remember falling into a fetal position, And I close my eyes. This is it. This is it. Out of everything I've gone through in the dark universe and all these fake lives and being, I don't know, greedy or selfish, this is it. And the whole existence of whatever life is, this is it. And I feel this air, like wow. And I'm freaking out. So scared. And then I feel this like so quiet. And I didn't feel any compression or nothing.
Like peace? Like it was just
maybe
peace?
Maybe. But there's no sound anyways. But
you're just floating.
It's different. It's different now. It's different now. And so and this is weird again. I open my eyes slowly, even though I don't have a body. And I open my eyes, and then I feel like stand up. And then I'm up, and there's this bright light, like huge bright light on the right side of me. Super bright. It's just like really, like I don't even know how to explain it. And then I look off to like across from me, and then I start seeing these silhouettes, like of people who have been waiting for me in this white universe since billions or zillions of eternities. They've been waiting for me. I have not been here since the beginning of life, and that was a super long time ago to where I don't even remember.
Did you get the vibe that it was like a familial setting? Like these are spirits or people you have known in your past lives? Who no?
Well, not these ones. First of all, these ones were like they were waiting for me. But it felt like they were my ancestors and they were waiting for me.
Okay, so not from past lives, but these are people who are directly related to you who have been like
so weird. Like
like
they know me.
What's up, grandson?
Like I mean, just to even be here, it's so exciting and it's so amazing. And it's the final. It's home. It's you didn't even fathom that you would even think that this is the place that you would ever want to be at. This is it. This isn't heaven. This is better than that. This is something. This is amazing, yo. It's amazing. And then they didn't come up too close. And then to the right, some more silhouettes came out. And these individuals were people from this reality. And I was like, I knew them. Like they were friends or they were people that were in my life. And then this little girl comes out from the silhouettes and starts walking to me. And then the bright light, I look at the bright light and I'm like, who is this? And it didn't say anything. And so I went and I looked at this it was a girl and she's walking towards me again.
What was she wearing?
Nothing. It was just a silhouette.
Oh, gotcha. But you could see it was like a young female.
And then
or you got that impression at least.
Yeah, totally. And then the bright light said, and it does not have a body, and it's not a human. It's not a human. It's like energy, but it's not the energy that was on the other side of the wall. There's even stronger energy on the other side of this wall.
And that strong energy, was it attracting you to it? Was it something that you felt like you had to reach, or were you only on a specific path where you were directed towards that?
I was directed towards it.
You were directed towards it. Yeah. Like there was something that
okay,
so you could only go that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's like a one-way thing.
But you didn't feel a pull or a desire or a need to see what it was. Oh, you did. Okay, so it was more or less it was like a magnetic, like this is where you belong or this is where you need to be. Come to us, like, versus like, well, this is the only fucking spot you got, so you're just going towards it.
Like it was just okay. It was okay where I'm at, just where I'm at. But
and did it give you did you have any type of like emotion that made you feel like you were safe or like that was the right choice? Did you feel any fear?
Okay. No fear.
No fear at all. You had no emotion whatsoever. You just literally were essentially a drone being pulled towards something.
Yeah. Well, after when I thought that I was going to die or whatever, when the soil was being rolled over me, that was scary. But there was nothing to be scared of anymore. It was almost like you're done. You reached.
Like you're done. You've been judged. Because essentially what it sounds like you explained to me was literally going through, you're dying, you're being judged, and you're going to purgatory. You know, you're going to hell or you're going to heaven. And it sounds like they were like, all right, well, he's kind of young and he kind of like, I don't fucked up a little bit.
But I was
like,
there for eternities. Like I was there.
It felt like you were there for
ever.
Eons.
And ever and ever and ever. And yeah.
That sounds dreadful, dude.
It was horrible. It was
that is
horrible.
torture.
But so anyway, so this bright light, even though it was so bright, I couldn't look at it because it was too bright, but it didn't hurt my eyes. It was just too bright. And it said, I have to go back. And I was like, no way. No way.
Why?
Because it's too emotional.
So you were able to actually connect with your emotions, knowing what you were about to go back to. Now, did you feel like you didn't want to go back because what was in front of you was more enticing? Like did you get a vibe like where you were at was more of a solace, like you felt more comfortable, or was it like
it was like the longer you're there, the more you remember that you're supposed to be there, but you haven't been.
You
there.
forget everything beforehand.
Yeah. So imagine being taken from your home
At a young
life.
age.
Yeah, and then you return back to it, but magnify that by billion and zillion eternities. Like that's how it feels. It's like you don't. Why do I want to leave?
Yeah.
Why? Like no. You know, and it said you have to go back. So then I was like, all right, right? Even though I didn't want to. And it said, would you want to know before you go back? And I said,
know what?
Like, what do you want to know?
Oh, what do you not? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha. I thought you said, do you want to know? As in you already had a question.
Yeah, like it's asking me, like, do you want to take something back home? Do you want to take something before I send you back, kind of thing? And I said everything. I don't know why I said everything, but I said everything. And so then as I was falling, I remember it was an actual, like, I'm going through this white energy world, like it's like I'm sinking again.
Mm-hmm.
It's super fast, and as I'm falling, I see souls being sent out to other planets. I see the solar system. I see space. I see my soul being shot from the light. I go to this realm. I am water, air, molecules, plant life, dirt, insect. I am every single thing that builds up to who I am as a human being now. And then I see my body on the ground, and it's all surrounded with black, and it's lifeless, and I fall into it. And when I fell into it, it was almost like somebody slapped every inch of my body. And then I could feel my lungs go, you know, and it hurt so bad. And it was almost like blood starts circulating, and I can feel it, and it hurt so bad. I was so weak. I was in pain. And after a while, I stood up. And then once I stood up, the curtain, I say it's like a curtain, but it wasn't a curtain, but all the blackness started to disappear. And then I could see the world again. And I was back in this realm, and I was back where I left. And I remember thinking, I need to get home, like before something bad happens. And so the light in the sky was too bright for my eyes. So I had to follow power lines to get home. And then I got home, and then after that, I couldn't speak for 6 months, and I had no motor skills. And then I can only remember 3 or 4 days. Out of that, going to a hospital, I was in a room, and they took my blood, a bunch of vials. And then another day, I'm in a doctor's office, and I remember hearing the doctor tell my mom that I killed so many brain cells that they don't regenerate, that my IQ is a 3-year-old. And that's going to be it.
Like,
and
you're just brain dead at that point, essentially. Like, close to
I'm
it.
sitting in a chair, and I'm just, like, I can't move. and I can't talk. I remember trying to talk. I'm trying to talk. I'm trying to yell. I'm trying to do something. My voice, it's almost like there's a switch inside of you that's turned off. And every time I try to do it, saliva will come out. I'd be like, "Ugh." You know, like now I understand, you know, people who are in those homes, you know, who have disabilities, they're trying to talk to you. They're not just going, you know, with saliva running down their mouth for nothing because they're stupid. They're actually smart. They're actually trapped inside their body, and they're trying to communicate. And if they're making that noise, because I was making that noise, and when I was making that noise, I was screaming as loud as I could just to get that little noise out. It was not fair, but 6 months went by, and I remember I had some medication, and I remember my girlfriend at the time, she would lead me to the shower. She would feed me. Insane, dude. By this time,
that's impressive.
Yeah,
it's a good girl.
And then we had, the time is kind of difficult to remember, but I spoke eventually. I was sitting at the dinner table. I remember it was daytime, and all of a sudden it's dinner time. You know, time went by really quick, and then she said, she was in the kitchen, and she said, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "Yeah." I could talk.
I just out of the blue, you said, "Yeah."
Yeah. I said, "Yeah, I'm hungry." Fucking crazy. That was incredible. We both cried. It was insane.
That's insane.
So then I got my motor skills back. I got obsessed with dancing, and my intelligence was different. I wanted to research what I went through. I started studying Chinese, Japanese. Later on in the years, I studied Vietnamese, and then I got into HTML, and then the internet, and I just stuck to codes, and I'm really good with codes and patterns now. Bad thing, when I came back, I could see shadow people. I can sense things in homes. I can communicate with things. I can have a sense of missing people. Other things about with dating now, which I'm attracted to people I cannot read. Mm-hmm. If I can read a female, and I don't mean read like body language and what kind of character and personality. I mean read their organs. Like I can see their organs. I can see fatty tissue.
X-ray kind of vision kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like more like density, or you're actually able to see it?
No, I can see the color.
Like,
I can see the fatness. I can see white. I can see yellow. I can see color of organs. I can hear how their organs are processing. I can hear their hair. I can.
Damn, it's like ultra sensitivity, bro.
Yeah, and it sucks because when I'm shooting models, a lot of my friends would be like, or family members would be like, "Dude, she's so fine. You didn't hit up on her or nothing." And no, I didn't. I can't tell them why. I can't tell them
because their color's off, right?
Well,
you sense her energy levels, and you perceive those as colors, right? Is that how you would internally
It's kind of like this. If whatever I see, I'm grossed out. I'm grossed out.
Yeah,
I'm totally grossed out. So I don't want to pursue them. If I see a girl and I'm like, oh yeah, she just got through her menstrual cycle. Guys aren't supposed to know that kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, and I can, and I can tell what they had for dinner, and I think that was disgusting because I can see it processing through them. I don't want. How can I be attracted to a female that I can see like that and I can read, and that's just I don't want to be with them.
Yeah.
So when I meet a girl that I can't not read, there's this shield that's over them, and I'm fascinated by it, and that attracts me to them. Unfortunately, the girls that I have been attracted to are not good ones. Everybody's good at heart, but I'm just saying they They don't make good decisions in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I end up being the person that cleans up after them. And so it's difficult. But yeah, little gifts like that. And a lot of mediums that I've been around, they tell me right off the bat, you're way more on a different level than I am. Like, I should actually be coming to you for answers. And I don't even have to tell them what I've been through, you know? And that's really cool and all, but I'm not like them. Like, I don't want to enhance my gifts because I have children. And I've already gone through it, where things fly across the room and shadow people show up at my bed. And when I close my eyes, there's bright light. And why would I want my kids to go through all that? Like, I don't want them to go through all that. Why, Dad? Why is this moving? Dad, why? You know, why are things like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
I don't try to enhance the gifts at all. So I try to avoid them. Mediums always tell me you need to allow it because you brought something here and you can help the world, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if I help the world, I'm not helping myself. And I need to focus on my kids. I need to focus on my life because I'll become consumed by it. And that's what I meant earlier, was like, it'll consume you. I see missing children, flyers locally. And sometimes they reach out to me and I'm like, I don't want to go look for you. I'm sorry. Like, I can't do this. Like, I know your family hurts. I can't do that. Like, I can't do this. Like, I have my own family and it sucks, but sometimes it gets to me. And I have to do something. And one time I did give in a couple years ago. There was this boy who's missing in Nampa. Last seen by Snake River Elementary off of Garrity Boulevard. I kept on seeing his face everywhere. I was like, fine. So I went to Snake River at the same time frame where he disappeared, and I felt his energy, and I followed it in my vehicle, and I went over to, we're talking about maybe on the other side of the city, and I'm driving, and this is at nighttime, and I remember parking, and I'm pulling off on the side of the road, and I said, I know he's here somewhere, but there's a canal here. So I step out of the vehicle and I'm listening. I'm trying to hear for, breaking twigs, any kind of breathing, any kind of, like, the wind has a certain frequency. And if there's an animal in the area, you can pick up on it. Or even if it's a human being, you can pick on it. Mm-hmm. I just can't pick him. I can't pick him up. Like, I know he's here, but I don't want to look like a suspicious individual, and then cops come and there's, like, so what are you doing here? And then all of a sudden I'm colored skin and I'm looking for somebody who's been missing, and it's like, so anyways, so I left, and 2 days later his body was found in that canal right where I pulled over.
Damn.
And it was stuck in a grid that was like underneath where the canal goes underneath the road. I knew he was there, and I knew I could have reached out to his family weeks in advance, but it would consume me. Like, every night I go to sleep and it would consume me, and I'm like, how am what kind of gift is that, where you find dead bodies and you bring closure to a family, but yet how come you can keep that person from being dead anyways? Mm-hmm. So
they're already dead.
Yeah, it's like, if you have a gift, why not save that person? But yet now I just have a gift to locate missing people, and that's not cool with me because I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to do it. One of my ex-girlfriends hung herself, and in 2004. Well, she was found hung off of Greenbelt in Boise. She was missing.
Off the Greenbelt?
Mm-hmm.
So outside?
Yeah.
Damn.
So there's a huge thing about it too, but so she was plastered all over KTVB, Boise woman missing. Her boyfriend at the time was worried, yada, yada. She put me through a lot of shit, and so I never wanted to get back with her. She always wanted to get back with me. I always figured, I just hope she's getting high with her friends. But I knew deep down I needed to go look for her. So it bothered me. So I got my son Juntao. He was a kid at the time, and I put him in the car seat, and we went to Boise, and we went to Veterans Park, and we started playing in the playground. It was daytime, and then I could see this like vortex calling me to go to the Greenbelt, but I didn't. And instead, I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to get my son and we're going to leave. And we left. And then a couple of days later, maybe 3 days later, that same week, her body was found hung on a tree, like about a block and a half away from where I was. I could have found her body, right? And it angered me, because one, if I would have found it, like what would people think of me, right? She's your ex-girlfriend and you found her, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But she was found.
That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, obviously, like, if you find your ex-girlfriend's dead body, like,
yeah, you're like,
that'd be
become
like,
a
oh,
suspect,
fuck, man,
maybe.
you're a suspect right off the bat, yeah.
So, I don't know, but I went back to the scene. I started looking for clues. She was found with like an ID and tweezers, and that's it. She had one necklace on, no rings, no earrings.
No note.
Nothing. And not even any cigarettes. And she was like a habitual smoker, like for real, even when she was stressed out. The boyfriend at the time gave up this whole story that she left in anger and she's been missing for, 6 days or something like that. And no one could find her. Police, some joggers found her body hanging. They come over, they cut the branch down, and they take her body away. They speak with her therapist. Therapist says that she has suicidal tendencies. She's on medication. They close the case. I go back to the scene. I find a bloody napkin in the restroom in the garbage that was not looked at, and I find out that when cops think that there's a suicide, that they'll take a look around, or even a dead body. It's about a 10-foot radius. They'll actually do a search or investigate for clues. That's it. And I spoke to there's like a sewer refinement company right next to the Greenbelt area. I spoke to the night manager. And I told him where her body was hanging, and he said, that's impossible. He's like, I have employees walk up and down this Greenbelt looking for homeless people. Mm-hmm. So we can tell them, you guys got to leave. You can't camp here. They would have seen her body hanging right there. Like, her body was like 15 feet away from the Greenbelt path. He's like, there's no fucking way that her body was hanging there for all 4 days, 3 days, nothing. So that led me to believe that she was killed. Something happened, or she was staying somewhere, and it just doesn't make sense. I investigated her death and found out that the last day when she was seen, hours before she left, she had a bunch of rings on her fingers. She had a hoop earring. She had 3 necklaces. And now all that shit was gone.
So you think it was foul play?
Yeah, and I brought it up to Boise PD, spoke with the chief guy, and he threatened me and said, don't open this as a can of worms and yada yada, and people don't like to accept that people commit suicide, and that's what you're feeling. And I'm like, no, dude. Like,
he's just lazy as fuck. He's like, nah, she killed herself. I don't want to work anymore.
Yeah. And he was like,
case closed.
He's like, if you keep pursuing this, it's going to be bad for you. Trust me.
Yeah.
Like, he was threatening me on the phone. So I totally backed off. But now I like to think that she did end her life, because who likes to think that somebody was murdered? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like to think somebody said, I'm in control of my life, and I'm going to do this right now. Mm-hmm. Like, it's her decision. I like to think that, and that's what I want to
just
think.
Easier for you to, like, process. Yeah, dude, totally.
So anyway, so these gifts, I don't really want, it makes me different, and reading people, and that's why I can shoot females. Like, I know them. It was almost like, if I'm close to them, I know you. Like, I know you.
Yeah.
I know you. And so I'm not trying to hit on you, because I already know you, like a brother or like a family member. So you can walk around naked and trust me, because I'm not interested, But if there's a girl and there's a shield and I can't read her, it's like, whoa, what's the difference? Like, there's something different about you, and I don't know. So,
do you think it could be like genetics or something, or bloodline stuff?
Possibly my
spiritual stuff.
My mother. Well, we have Apache in us, and my mother's mother. They used to call her like a bruja, like a witch, but a witch, not an evil one, like one that can actually help you with your problem.
Kind of like a medicine man, but like a female.
And my mother, when I brought up the house where I saw the alien, or when I had my third encounter, she said that she heard voices in that house, and that house was saying that we were going to get your son. And so I think that she was on another level, but she didn't know how to deal with it, and so it fucked her up. And so, yeah, she ended up taking all kinds of medication and such, and hallucinating and all kinds of crap. And so, and you know what? And I have thought about, like, whatever I experienced, was it because of the drug, right? Was it because you were hallucinating? It was just this one big, huge trip? But no way. Like, everything that I saw, and I came back, and everything that I've done research, it kind of makes sense. Like, it opened something, and everything makes sense. It's just, it's weird. It's weird. I think everybody, when you do die, you go on a different path. Everybody has a different path. Either you're in this tunnel and there's this light, and then you just walk towards the light, and then you're freaking golden. Me, on the other hand, I went to this dark universe, and I went to this light universe, and then I was sent back, and I would search for people who had similar experiences, and I've only found one person that has on the internet that has that kind of experience. But a lot of them are weird. Children have different experiences, where there's some kind of being that actually talks to them and calms them down and knows them and tells them stuff, and then all of a sudden they come back to their body, like, everybody has something different. But I'm personally not looking forward to dying, and I'm not looking forward to it.
We've already died, dude.
Yeah, but it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. Even though you've been in a fight before, and you can take a punch, and you know how to deflect punches,
it's not like you're looking for fights.
Yeah, you have no control when you're dead. Yeah. There's no instruction manual. There's no, oh, hey, how awesome, nice to meet you. Let's shake hands. Hey, come on this way.
Right?
No way. Once you're dead, dude, you don't remember your name. You don't remember where you were at, what clothes you were wearing, what school you went to, what's your favorite movie, favorite colors, nothing. You're thrown into this other realm, and you better hope that your soul is a good soul, and that good soul just prompts you to the right area. That's it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That is super weird.
It's definitely intense, dude.
It's way intense.
But as for the alien thing, like, it's so weird that weird shit has happened to me. And you know what? And I dated a therapist a couple years ago. And
what kind of therapist?
I don't know. But she like sees people with problems, like a regular therapist.
Yeah.
And anyways, and she told me what her profession was.
Like a general practitioner. Like just someone who like just handles everybody. Gotcha.
Yeah, and like a psychotherapist, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And I told her, like, we went on a date, and I told her, this is I go, do you have patients, clients that come in and tell you that they've been abducted by aliens? And she's like, I don't know why do you ask, right? So I'm like, fuck. Okay, so
because she can't really disclose much, but she can.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they talk to
they talk.
They won't give you names or addresses.
Sure.
But, and then I told her that I was in Homedale. She goes, wait a minute. She's like, you're like the third person that's told me they've been abducted from Homedale. She's like, what's up with Homedale?
I've heard a couple weird things about Homedale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like weird things, like lights and shit,
Dude. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff out in like Homedale, Mountain Home, especially because of the Air Force.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with military families, because I've experienced some shit too, but nothing like to that level.
But if you see lights in the sky, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Oh, dude.
that's the
We've
first-
seen some weird shit with him and I.
I call him all the time, and I'm like, dude.
Dude, we've seen weird shit, man. I'm the same way. My dad's retired colonel, military. So, I mean, and he's like a huge believer in higher intelligence, you know, whether it's extraterrestrial or intraterrestrial. He's a firm believer that we are definitely not being told the full truth. And Logan and I went out one night to take my dog just out here, and we saw, 2 shooting stars?
Yeah, like...
Dude, we saw
off-
2 shooting stars right off the bat,
Yeah.
dude. And we were only out there for like 15 minutes. And within 15 minutes, we saw like 2 shooting stars. We had like multiple questions that we couldn't even answer. We're like, well, so maybe that's an airplane. But I mean, this is very active air travel. Like, they wrap around. Like, if you were to look up, if you were to live here, I've lived here for 8 years. But if you look up, you see that the way the planes come into the Boise airport, they wrap around in this, like, right above me, and they do a circle to get to their landing pad or their strip or whatever.
Yeah.
So you see very consistent patterns with a lot of blinking lights and things in the sky. So a lot of times I can look up and be like, oh, that's a fucking airplane. Not just because of the lights, but because I watch it and I see the pattern. Because there's a lot of blinking lights out there. But I like to see the pattern because that is what's consistent. And if something is not within that, if something doesn't match that, that's what's going to pique my interest. And there's been a few really, really, really odd instances where I've looked, and I have videos online of like things in the sky. I have a video online that got reposted by like, what is it, like Idaho UFO Society or something like that. And one morning I was driving to work and there was this like craft. It was like a cigar craft, like a cigar shaped craft, but it wasn't like horizontal, it was vertical. Yeah. And it was there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, it's 7:30 in the morning. Maybe it's like, maybe it's a star, or maybe it's something bright in the sky. I don't know what the fuck it'd be. And I kept watching it, and I was like, nah, that's not like anything I've ever seen before, hoping that it was going to move. And it didn't move. And I have this video as I'm driving down the interstate. I'm like, what is that? Like, what am I looking at right now? And that was one of 2. There were 2 of them in the sky. And I didn't catch the second one because I only saw it after I had recorded the first one. But they were in different points in the sky. One was directly east, and the other one was southeast. But the one that was directly east or north of the larger one that I actually filmed, that just like randomly disappeared in the middle of my filming, because I saw it at the end of my filming and I was about to take a photo of it or like a video of it to say, there's like 2 of these things, they're just floating. And that's...
So they're vertical like this.
They were vertical. They weren't horizontal. Yeah, dude. Wow. It looks straight up and down like a cigar. Yeah. And I've seen some other stuff, man. Like when I was driving down the interstate at like 1:00 in the morning, I saw this really odd light in the sky. And I'm very familiar with driving back this way around like 1 and 2 in the morning. So I'm somewhat familiar with what the sky looks like. I take my dog out every fucking night and I look at the sky every night. So I'm probably a little more familiar with what is in my night sky versus the majority of like people out there, because most people don't look up. I'm just out there fucking running my dog out like in the field, and all I can do is stare up at the sky and geek out on like podcasts. So I remember we're driving down and I see this star, this abnormally bright star, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing that star at all in the last like forever. But I'm staring at it, seeing, are you gonna fucking blink? Like, are you gonna move? What the fuck? Who are you? What are you? Like, you're not in the sky. And all of a sudden I hear these helicopters just fucking like just blazing right over me, and I don't see any helicopters. They had to have been like straight black as night, no lights or nothing, but I hear these things, and they're going in the direction, they're heading westbound, because this is, at the time, I'm going westbound towards my house from downtown, and I'm staring at this thing, and then all of a sudden this little red dot thing just kind of drops, right? And it's like blinking and blinking and blinking, and then this thing like literally just like moves, and then it fucking disappears.
Yeah.
And you've got these helicopters just fucking flying over, and it's kind of like what you're saying is we have all these air bases.
Yeah.
And I mean, my brother was a warrant officer. He was an Apache pilot. And I asked him, like, have you ever seen anything fucking weird like in the sky? He's like, oh no, man, I've never seen anything weird, which is fine, because like he's probably doing like, you know, day flights and like when he's training and everything, or because he's not in combat all the time, or he wasn't in combat all the time, but like during training exercises and stuff, he's like, no, I've never seen anything weird. But like he's also probably contractually obligated not to say anything.
Sworn, dude.
Yeah.
You're
like,
sworn.
Yeah, he's sworn. He doesn't even talk about SEER school with me. Like, and he's like my best brother. You know, like he's like one of my best friends. So like for him to like kind of like shy away from that, I was like not surprised, but I was also kind of a little bit surprised that he wouldn't tell me as a brother. But like he says he's never seen anything weird, but it's like he flew Apaches, like this, like what else, what else do you have that's a helicopter that would take something down, or have any type of like manpower to be able to at least regulate or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
This fucking dog, dude, just driving me crazy. But no, dude, that's super interesting. I collectively, I think like if you're around people who have had experiences, I think maybe you're a little bit more susceptible or a little bit more in tune with your surroundings, maybe because you have a certain type of an energy that you put off, even if you don't know that other individual has had weird experiences. Because I've had podcasts, you know, where we talk about like, you know, the shadow people, and I've had really weird experiences with like shadow people stuff, man, and those have been covered on previous shows. So anybody who's listening and you want to hear like mine or Logan's experience,
Dude, I've got some
yeah
crazy experiences.
Yeah, conspiracy theories episode, what is it, like I think it's like part 2. We really dive deep into like our experiences, so look that up. Yeah, everybody listening, just go ahead and look that up. Man, my dog is like out of control right now.
Does your dog want to go out?
I think so, dude. She sees us late. Plus, we hit an hour and a half. I think I might. Are you guys good? I think we fucking covered. We covered everything I thought we were gonna cover. Oh, this dog is so stoked. She heard you say that. She's like, oh my god. But dude, let's go ahead and pitch your kids' stuff real quick. So you have 2 children,
3 little ones.
Well, 3. All of them have their own shows, like channels.
I've merged their channels into my channel.
Okay.
So now it's just a big, huge family channel.
And
That's
your kids are fucking adorable.
Thanks.
And I think the coolest thing about it is you're a dad that is like, yo, my kids are special, and this is why. And you film them in like their setting where they're happy, and you get that vibe. I've seen a lot of these videos, and because you have 2 of the 3 are on the spectrum, or all 3 of them? 2 of the 3.
2 are
Your daughter?
evaluated. They're confirmed on the spectrum. The
2
other one is going to be evaluated soon because he's showing symptoms of being on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Or signs.
The Eminem video was fucking adorable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's funny. So you have your YouTube channel that you aggregated all those into your own. So what channel? Where can they find these videos at?
It's if you were to search on YouTube, 1 day at a time 208.
Okay.
As in the Idaho area code, it'll pull up and you'll see it. It's like a big yellow thumbnail. With photos on it. That's the family channel, and so it's cool. It's cool. It's growing. Since I'm a stay-at-home dad, YouTube is my only outlet to try to make income, kind of thing. So, the kids have lots of doctor's appointments, speech therapy, OT therapy. It's just if I were to call into work and say, "Hey, sorry, I gotta take one of my kids to OT therapy today, and then and in 2 more days I got to take my daughter in, and then my little one had to take him into speech. Like, an employer's gonna be like, yeah, let's get you out of here. Let's find somebody who can be here every day. So I'm a stay-at-home dad, and so I make these videos, and I'm hoping that after a year and a half it'll show some kind of benefit. Right now it's growing fantastically. Like, I been at it for like a little over a month, maybe a month and a half. I started with 702 subscribers. Now I have 733. So it's slowly growing. I have to have 1,000 subscribers to monetize my videos. The requirements for watch time, I've already exceeded that. So really, I just need 1,000 subscribers and I can start making money. But yeah, I try to make cool stuff for the kids, stuff that is appealing to autistic children, because they appeal to my kids, and so now I'm reading books, doing narration and stuff like that. So I'm about to release my first episode on that one. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, there's a movement. I see a lot of stuff for for autism, and you're very well aware of it. The number every year increases and increases. The percentage of babies who are born, they're going to be eventually probably diagnosed with having some type of an autistic behavioral pattern, I guess is what you'd say. And I believe all of us have certain tendencies that would technically put us on the spectrum, but I honestly, dude, I believe a lot of these kids, they're just kids and they're overdiagnosed, and it's just a way to wrap people into the system, and let your kid be a kid for a little while and see if it doesn't pan out. If they're literally if they're having issues, if they're having problems in their capacities, so of course you need to figure out how to how to balance them out.
I'd say if you feel that your child may be on the spectrum, where it's like this: if your child is not talking by the age of 2, not even saying a word, then you need to take a look and find out if your child's on the spectrum, because your child's supposed to say a word. Your child's supposed to say dada, or mama, or bubba, or ball, or doggy, or cat, or something. And my kids don't say anything. They just make noises. And so they are smart. Their motor skills are fantastic. They can climb. They're not afraid of heights. But they don't speak. And you need to get some kind of therapy going, because when they get into kindergarten, how's a teacher supposed to say, "Oh, so do you need to go to the bathroom?" And your child's going, woo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all the other kids are like, "What's wrong with him?" Right? You can get them, the therapy that they need. She's through infant toddler, and then once they reach 3 years old, they can get that services. My children are advancing because they're getting services.
And these are government provided services,
or
no?
state.
Or state provided. Yeah. Well, your tax dollars would essentially be helping these children.
I would think so, somewhere around there. But they.
I would hope so.
Disability.
Because this is the thing we lack in, dude. We have terrible mental health care in this fucking country. We absolutely do.
But yeah, you gotta get them help. Seriously, the bullying situation. And can you imagine if you don't help your child because they don't talk? And then by the time they're in 4th grade, they're still not talking, and they want to just die because they have no friends. Don't wait. You see your child and your child's not saying nothing. Shit, get some help, man.
Yeah.
Do it right away. And there's nothing wrong with saying, "Yo, my kid has a problem." Fuck, you do it now, you can keep your kid's alive.
Not gonna have a problem.
One word is better than no word.
Yeah.
And sign language is way better than any kind of words, and so, but you're not going to get that help unless you know to read the signs.
Do your kids, do they communicate with sign language, or is
Sometimes.
it more like a tonal vocabulary where you know if they're like yes or no based on like the pitch of their voice?
Well, they'll bring stuff to you. I don't understand. Like my chunk is 3 years old. He makes sounds. So like when he wants something, he says woo woo woo, you know. And then when he's super happy, he goes woo, you know, like makes these like weird high pitched noises. But if he wants to eat, he'll bring you a plate. If he wants to drink, he'll bring you a glass or a bottle, or he'll bring you a jug of milk or a jug of whatever it is. And if he wants more, you know, he's starting to learn sign language where he's like more. And that's cool. You know, that's right now, that's where we're at. Like he can't tell me, hey, the light is too bright for me, I can't go to sleep. He won't tell me that. Or I want to play with that ball. Like he doesn't do that. And he doesn't play with others either. So so to see him play with his siblings, it's like really cool. But it's only because he's getting this help. Mm-hmm. You know, there's therapists that actually sit down with him and help him play with a toy and say, can I play? And then learn how to share and how to clap and how to sing. And he can't sing, but he'll kind of, you can tell he's singing to it. So if some kind of melody like Disney song is on and it's like, you know, like da 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 da, he'll be like, ooh, hey, you know, like and you're like, I know you're trying to sing.
He's engaged,
but you're not. You're not making those tones, and so the brain is working differently. And it's understanding, but it's just the output is not there, and I don't know if the output will ever be perfect. And as a parent, I have to realize that I'm probably going to live with him for the rest of his life or the rest of my life. Like I'm going to take care of him. Like there's no way that if he's like this, going through high school, like teachers are not going to understand him and shit. He's going to have to write stuff down, you know, like a deaf person, but he can understand stuff.
So he can write things down?
No. Not yet.
But that would be an option over like speaking if he was lacking in like his communication skills. Yeah. See, that's what kind of scares me about being like a father. Like I would. I don't know. For me, I think like, dude, it'd be terrible. For me, it'd be like, I think about it. I'm like, oh man, do I want to bring a kid in the world knowing that like, you know, like they might not be able to speak their whole lives, like knowing that they want to communicate, like that's what scares me. It's like, because I know the personality that I have and the love and the care that I have for those that that are in my family, my nephews and nieces, and when I see them struggle, I can only imagine, and I see my siblings struggle, you know, with having children who have been diagnosed with things, you know, and I look at it and I'm like, oh man, like I see the struggle they go through, and I have a huge respect and an appreciation because I know that they give it their all, and I know how difficult it is for them as a parent, knowing how much you love your child and you want them to succeed, and the difficulty in making sure that they're able to have a happy and healthy life. Right. You know,
and you know, and I mean, just so anybody watching this right now, my kids, they all said mama, dada, and baba by 4 months. And then once they got the rounds of vaccinations, it was done.
You told me that.
And it happened with my 4-year-old, happened with my 3-year-old, and then with my 2-year-old. They wanted to give him rounds, and I denied it because I saw what happened to my 2 older ones. Fuck that. I wasn't down. And but you get into this where everybody tells you there's nothing wrong with vaccinations, and it really has ingredients that are really going to, you know, help your child avoid, you know, yada yada, and it's going to strengthen their immune system. And so I let them do 1 round on him, and he was saying mama, dada, baba, and not anymore. So
I wonder if there's like something in your genetic code. I wonder if it's like a genetic mutation where like certain things.
I've thought about that too, because I do have friends who are Hispanic, and they have Hispanic partners, and their children are vaccinated, and there's no problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so my kid's mother is like half African American and white, and I'm Native. Maybe there's some studies on that kind of, DNA mixture, and the vaccines, don't work, or
and
maybe
they trigger something.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't dove into that, because if I were to do that, like, I'm going full blown. Like, I'm looking for research from African Americans with vaccination issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for all kinds of different races for different kinds of mixes of the other DNA. And I'm a civilian. Like, I can figure out all this shit, but do I want to dedicate all that time, or do I want to just put that into my family? Because right now, YouTube,
it's a lost cause at that point. They're already there. Like,
sure. I mean, I can help other people,
position.
maybe.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, that's not going to make me... Right now, I need money, Yeah. And if I'm stuck at home being dad, I need to focus on what's going to provide us some kind of financial income. And that's going to be YouTube. So I really can't help the world right now, because I have to help myself. I just have
totally.
It sucks.
Well, you're going to help the world, because... like, everybody's going to see...
well, believe me...
everybody's going to see that, like... The videos that you make and everything like that, I think you're helping others who are able to find solace in, like, watching your videos and knowing that they're not the only person out there whose child doesn't say a word at the age of 3 or 4. You are helping people. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like, you're changing their lives and their perspective on science. You're giving them some type of, like, an emotional comfort, knowing that, like, they're not the only parent, and they're not the only one who struggles with the experiences that you have had.
And maybe, you're right. And maybe if they're in a situation where they can't hold a real job because they've got all these doctor's appointments, maybe YouTube can help them. Like, it's going to help me. But I don't, like, right now, I'm not getting paid, because I need 1,000 subscribers. But I'm on a good track so far. And from my CPM rate and whatever, if I was monetizing, I'd be making right now, out of a month and maybe a little over a month of doing this, I'd be making $54 a month off of my videos. So that's cool. But it's projected in like 6 to 7 months, I should be making $200 to $300 a month, and in a year and a half to 3 years, I should be making about $6,000 a month. That's a lot of videos, and that's a lot of focusing.
It's a lot of work.
But if it works for me, then I would love to help other families and say, look, if you were in the same situation as I was, do this.
Yeah.
Like, do it, because you're with your kids, and you get to help them go to therapy, and you can shoot them. And sure, there's nights where you're like, fuck, I wish I was in bed, but you have to do these videos.
Yeah.
But at least you're with your kids, and your kids really need their parents. And if you're a single dad or a single mom, like, I have no one else to depend on. So
yeah,
your kids need you big time.
Totally.
So,
well, shit, man. On that note, you're an awesome father. You are always blowing my mind with some of the shit that you tell me. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming over. Everybody, don't do drugs and huff.
Don't do that.
Stay away from
that. Unless you want to fucking go to Purgatory and back. But everybody can find you on your personal page as XO Chizzy, or So Chizzy is how you pronounce it, right?
That's the photography page.
Your photography page. That's right. And
So
then,
Chizzy,
any other shout outs you got?
No, just, if you want to help me out, go to my YouTube channel. Check me out.
Go to his YouTube channel.
Subscribe. If you got kids, it's cool. I'm trying to make content for them, but if not, you'd really help me out just by subscribing.
Well, it's great content, dude, and you're continuously improving. I see a lot of the updates that you post and like the videos that you do, and I do go to the page and I watch the videos and stuff like that. So, anything that I can do to help. I think I've subscribed on maybe 1 channel or 2 channels. I've tried to subscribe a couple of times, but sometimes I'm not logged in. But I have like 5 YouTube channels. And then for Logan, we were giants. Any big news you want to pop off? Anything you want to talk about real quick? Shout outs or anything like that? We didn't really talk about you because it wasn't your show. But.
No, yeah, it's all good. Just go check us out on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram. iTunes,
all Amazon.
everywhere. Amazon.
What do we check out on that?
Just We Were Giants.
We Were Giants. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you heard these guys real quick?
Let's hear
I'll play it and then we'll just close it out to
check
their
it out.
song. Let's do that. So these guys are pretty sick. If you like metalcore,
All right.
these guys are dope. What's the one song on YouTube or Amazon actually? Let's do your Amazon. It's probably gonna pull up a little bit quicker.
Yeah, just go check it out. Subscribe, add, buy an album, buy a shirt, hit us up. Let's hang out.
Buy a shirt.
Word.
Come on, dude. This computer's so slow when I'm recording.
You guys do many gigs?
Yeah, man. We've taken quite a bit of time off right now. We were getting our album done and stuff.
Okay.
Finally got it wrapped up. Got a few stuff in the works. So.
When you guys book shows or gigs, do you guys do like you get paid for it, or do you do like the door?
Usually our management takes care of that.
Okay.
We make a lot of our money more on merch sales.
Yeah, because I mean, my cousin owns a venue in Caldwell that packs a little over maybe around 400 people.
Oh, sick.
So and it's fully lights, sound equipped, and so some bands come in.
What venue is that?
King Legends.
Never even heard of it. Dude.
Yeah, I'll show you some stuff.
Yeah, cool.
But
Check it.
but yeah, I mean, we have acts that come through, and they collect the door. You know what I mean? And then we set up a spot where they can sell their merch. You know, and
Oh,
such.
dude.
So I mean, if you guys are ever interested, it's cool like that.
Yeah.
I know
Okay,
that
cool.
my cousin owns the venue, and he's always looking for talent just to put on the massive stage and fucking rock out. Yeah,
Okay.
it's really cool.
Dude, yeah.
I'm surprised
Get your
I never even
contact
heard
after
about
this.
that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no doubt.
But dude, we will finish with what? The Challenger, or what do you want? Final Encounter? I don't know, dude. They're so good, dude. All these songs are so good.
Whichever you want, bro.
Challenger's sick. We'll finish with Challenger. All right, everybody. Make sure that you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Pass the episode along. And have a wonderful rest of your day while fucking listening to We Were Giants. Thanks for tuning in, and peace out.
Why don't you bring the bullshit talk to the surface? Let's settle this once and for all. Fuck all the cheap tricks, passive shit. Make this the day that you and me or take the fall.
Listen to me, take a step back before you do something you might regret. I cannot believe what the enemy will find between your teeth.
What will you do if the fight doesn't go your direction?
What will you do?
May die in shame, but that's just one madman's prediction. Why don't you bring the bullshit talk to the surface? Let's settle this once and for all. Fuck all the cheap tricks, passive shit. Make this the day that you and me or take the fall. This one goes out to all you lying, cheating, fake cowards that hide. I will find you, and when I do, I'll be a ruthless mother.
Step up to the hate. Compose yourself or walk away. Step up to the hate. Now is the time, come show your face.
I can hear you, I can see you. What will you do if the fight doesn't go your direction? May die in shame, but that's just one madman's prediction. What will you do if the fight doesn't go your direction?
What will you do? is the day you